When did the new covenant begin? Hello, everyone. It's Michael here at Sweet Home Maricopa, and welcome back to the Sunday Sermonette series. Those of you who are familiar with my channel in the past, I don't work on Sundays. That is the Lord's Day in my household, but we're supposed to meditate on the Word of God and spend time with the Lord. So on Sundays, I don't do politics. I talk about Jesus. I talk about the Word of God. And today, I'm going to talk about the New Covenant and a question I heard posed to a Bible teacher that I respect. And he didn't really have a satisfying answer, and I want to give my answer. Before that, go to thiswaynetwork.com and subscribe to our newsletter. The second one's about to come out, and in this second one, I'm beginning my regular column. I'm going to write a regular column in our newsletter, and that column is called From the Belly of the Beast. You'll have to read the article to find out what I mean by that. That's the name of the column. Each column will have its own title. The first column is called, the title of the first column is, "Are You a Christian?" which is a question that was asked to me. So you'll just have to sign up for our newsletter to find out what my answer was. Coming out within the next couple days. Okay, the New Covenant. So the question that was asked of Mike Winger. So Mike Winger is a pastor who has a YouTube channel, and I agree with the vast majority of his teaching. He's a great teacher, except his eschatology. He's off on his eschatology, and that's okay. You know, we can agree to disagree about any number of things. We're all still Christians within the pale of orthodoxy. The discerning ear can hear when he's off on his eschatology, but he does fairly regularly I think it's 20 questions, just people comment in or send in their questions, and he tries to answer them within an hour. One of the questions he was asked was, when did the New Covenant begin? And the debate is, was it when Jesus offered the wine at the, I don't know if he covers this one, but some might argue that it was, Jesus says, "This is the blood of the new covenant." I'm butchering when he shares communion with them for the first time and institutes the sacrament of communion. Some think it was when he died on the cross. It is finished, designating the end of the old covenant and the beginning of the new covenant. Some would say it was after he actually died and went into the grave, because blood is the significance of the covenant, is the blood sacrifice, and it was once his blood was shed that the new covenant began. Others would say it's at the resurrection or at the ascension, that was technically when the new covenant began. Others might say it was when the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, because the old covenant had to end before the new covenant could begin, and there is no old covenant without the temple sacrifice, because that was the heart of the old covenant. So all of these, it's like, when did the new covenant begin? And my answer is, I believe it began the moment, I was going to say the moment that the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary. But I don't know when she conceived. I would say it's the moment of conception, right? I would say the new covenant began the moment Jesus inhabited physical form. That's just my, I'll give a little bit of reasoning for that. The moment God took on physical form, forever, right? Jesus was always had a physical body, because he knew, right? He created all things and knew that he would come into the creation. So in his eternal perspective, he's always going to be physical, and that was the moment he had foreordained when that would happen. And so that is a new creation. That is something new that had never happened before, something foretold, something promised. And if the blood argument, that's the beginning of perfect blood. Once again, Adam had perfect blood before he fell. That's the argument. But it was tainted, and no other blood was perfect. That's why the animal sacrifices just had to be over and over again. The blood had to be perfect for the sacrifice to be appeasing, to satisfy God's wrath upon sin. And so Jesus entering physical form, that's when the perfect blood began. That was a new blood, a new creation, a new kind of man. And it ties into my argument about, I don't think much changed when he died and resurrected, because he walked on water ahead of time. He was transfigured in their presence ahead of time. Jesus' physical body was already something new and something different, a new covenant, something promised, something foretold. Another answer to the question could be, it wasn't a specific pinpoint in time when the new covenant began. I would say it was the span of the moment he was conceived to the fall of the temple, right? That 70-year span, because that's the last week of sevens, the week of that was prophesied by Daniel, right? Everybody was expecting the Messiah to come because of Daniel's dating, like he timed it. And that week of sevens, that 70 years, was the completion of that prophecy. So it's that 70 years that could be seen as the beginning of the new covenant, the end of the old covenant, a process. Jesus came in the middle of that and gave everybody about 35-year warning. He said, this generation will not pass away until you see all these things come to pass. And he gave them 35 years, 30 to 40 years, and then they saw the visual demonstration that the old covenant was over when the temple fell. The new covenant had already begun in him. There's my answer. God bless you guys. God is in control.